Now, I just warn you, you are not going to have any minute to sleep. From now on, enjoy the ride. And this speech I especially prepare for my two beautiful children, adult children sitting here, and those young ladies on the top. And everyone in this room have children or even have grandchildren. Here's my speech. I'm sorry. I'm truly sorry for your loss. I learned from the news recently, and the people talking about it everywhere. They said, the great Australian dream is dead. With my condolence to hundreds of thousands of the young adults, home seekers, who the young adults staying with their parents, or even the young people, or the generation even have not born. The property ladders is even harder than ever in the history to climb. Maybe hundreds of thousands of the young people is out of their reach. I have every of the empathy, and I can understand the pain and the disappointment, the hopelessness you are feeling, you're experiencing right now. Because where I come from, the city called Hong Kong. A lot of people said Hong Kong is dead. This is really true. Because we have the housing crisis for over 2 decades and still keep on going. Little bit of my background. At my age of mid-20s, I, like everyone who want to have a home dreaming, have a dream to having their home. I work 2-3 jobs, saving most of my money to save down the deposit. And because of the markets just right now is so hit up, I was feared to miss out. I rush into the market, and even I have to borrow extra loan to get into the market, get our first property so that I can marry that beautiful wife over there. Yes, and unfortunately, in 2018, a perfect storm, financial storm, swept half of the property values, and I was forced to sell my property with loss 50%. And I have to even borrow a loan to sell my property. And then I have my wife and my firstborn son to move into my parents. Yes, I'm a Bruneian child with my family. Stay with my parents for 15 years until I moved to Australia, Perth. Finally, something we can afford to buy our own house. However, that housing crisis is sweeping here in Australia. And now, my children's generation, probably it's too hard, really hard for them to climb the property ladder, especially last year when I was here last October, I said the property price was under 600,000. 12 months later, now how much is it? The average price is $750,000. God, never so hard. Young people, you are just graduating from high school. It's so hard. Get ready for your ride. Yes, and yeah, this is where I come from. I have all the experience of Hong Kong, from Hong Kong, of the housing crisis, and Hong Kong is the #1 most expensive city in the whole world. Who's the number 2? Who's the number 2? Sydney, yes. Sydney is the number 2. Now, probably this is something for the number 2 to learn from number 1. So today, I will start with telling you some of the story of the world number 1, and then I will talk about the cause of the housing crisis. At the end, there could be some really valuable lessons for Australia you should not miss. Let's take a tour. I'm taking you a tour, a shopping tour to Hong Kong. Isn't it exciting? It's going to be the most expensive shopping ever. All right? Yeah, Hong Kong is one of the most wealthiest and luxurious city in the world. Actually, it's the top number 3 in the world, and we have 111 billionaires in Hong Kong, and 8% of the population, they are millionaires. Now, let's see the second most expensive house in the world, and nobody is living in there. And it is at Hong Kong, the peak, and it worth $447 million. And the most expensive one is in California, cost $500 million. And this is the average of the middle class apartment, 90 square meter, cost 2 million Australian dollars. If you are new start, maybe you are not able to afford that $2 million. So what do you do in Hong Kong? New married couple, they get a 335 square meter unit for $800,000. Wow, really, I cannot afford it. All right, let's see the housing cost and wages compared in Hong Kong. Average of the middle class, they earn about $7,100 per month. And their property price is $1.3 million. This is the middle range, average price. And the skilled labor professionals, it takes 16 years whole income, not spending anything else, not even pay tax, to afford a 65 square meter unit. That's how it works in Hong Kong. So what if you cannot afford the private apartment? What do you do? This is the subsidized housing by government, and this is the public housing by the government. This is the average. How does it look? And now I'm going to share you the public housing dream of the young Hong Kong generations. What they want. You know, this is a real story. A friend of mine, he has a young employee. He was doing so well in the company. He wanted to give him a promotion. He said to the young man, hey, I'm giving you a promotion, a raise of your salary. What did the young man say? No, thank you. I don't want any raise. I don't want any promotion. I'm happy where I am. Why? That is really strange. I scratched my head. So what happened? Just because they want to keep their income to their minimal requirement of the housing public housing application, so that they can have a place to live, so that they can get independence, because they have no hope to climb the property ladder. That's where the Hong Kong young generation can be hopeless. And where is the lack? When there's a lack, there's adequate housing. What happened? Living in poverty in Hong Kong. This is 20% of the population, 1.6 million people living in poverty. And the minimum wages is only $6.50 per hour in Hong Kong. Do you feel you are earning so much? Yes, and they live in the subdivided flats, partitioned rooms. And there's about 100,000 units in Hong Kong, and 226,000 people is living in this condition. And sit tight. What you're going to see will blow your mind. The stories of more than 250,000 people in Hong Kong. That is the average size, 12 square meter subdivided unit. And they charge under $1,000 per month. Yeah, that's just so cheap. And that is about when you look up from the top, they're like a box home. You know what? They have eat there, they have to study there, and the children never have a proper desk to do their homework. They have to do their homework in that bed. And if you are single, you don't have a whole house, what do? Cage houses. This is a decker's bed and wrapped by the white mesh. This is a cage house, but this is no longer illegal. And the clever, smart Hong Kong business people, what they do, they get some board, covered it at the side, and make the coffin homes. Yes, how smart it is. Well, they have a TV, they can enjoy the babies in their little area. Just imagine, have a little imagination, people. You are in your first class seat, and then just you bring all of your belonging with you. That's how it feels. And the living environment, they mix the kitchen and the toilet together. How handy is it? Smart, isn't it? And this is the rooftop slum. That is the temporary housing. But however, when they say temporary housing, you make use of the flat roof, and hundreds of thousands of people are living in there. And they are really dangerous, especially when you catch on fire. And this is my story when I was 10. I was living in one of those shacks. And by the time, there's no window. There's only a ventilation opening at the top. And because of the shack was covered by the zinc metal sheet. Every time when it rains, it makes all the noise. I cannot sleep at night. When it comes to storm, typhoon, I was so scared. The house will collapse. And the worst part is every night when I have to go to the toilet, I have to walk in the dark for 5 minutes to go to a public toilet and bathroom. There's no privacy at all. And there was one night, a fire burned the other side of the shack village. And that is bad. Good news is nobody get hurt. And even more better news is we moved out from the village and moved into the public housing, and we start a real life. Why the property prices are so high in Hong Kong? Well, a lot of people say it's because of the shortage of the land and high interest rate, construction costs. It's the planning restriction, there's a supply issue, and immigrants from China, and lifestyle choice, blah, 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 blah. After all, at the end, it's supply and demand. Well, people claim there is not enough land. Is that true? Now, let me show you the true figures. Land availability in Hong Kong is 1,114 square kilometers. It's about 1/6 of the size of the Greater Perth. Only 30% of the land has been developed. Shocking. The more shocking thing is, only 7% of the land has been developed for residential because of only it's high density in the urban area, and in the countryside, actually there's a really low density. There's a lot of land. Land is available. And the private land issue is the government have the high land price policy, and the developer hosts 1,000 hectares of the lands, and slow development take 10 years because the developer try to pull it back as much as they can. And the government, they have multiple departments to approve. The process is taking so long. After all, who is the dominant players in this property market? I would say the developer and the bank at the second rank, and the top rank is the government. Because China owns all the lands, and they give the leasing rights to the Hong Kong government because they want to control the price of the land. They are the dominant players. And now, let's see How does it look like when you compare Hong Kong to Sydney? With the living cost, actually it's about less than 5% higher in Hong Kong and 9% higher than Sydney when it comes to rent. And the rent is about 16.8, 17% higher than Sydney right now. And the grocery is 3% higher, same thing. And when it comes to restaurant, dining out, eating outside, in Sydney is much more expensive. So that's why people go to Hong Kong, what they do? Eat, yes. Yes, and when the buying power actually is much more powerful, about 14% higher than Hong Kong in Sydney. People are more rich in buying. So what happened lately in Sydney? They are catching up. They are start having the first micro apartment. And the people, the developers say, people love it because the rent is under $400 per week. Whoa, so cheap, we want more. They start catching up, start getting there. Now I have a question for you. Who see people living out in their car in your area? Please put up your hand. Yes, yes, yes. Which area is it? Yes, which area? Yes, and Paul. Bayswater. Yes, I'm trying to ask this question because I want to give you the fact is, they are everywhere across the country. It's getting more and more people living out in the car. The best thing they can hold on to beside their car is the gym membership, because they can go to exercise and they have a shower. Make sure they are fresh to go to work so that they can go to work. This is what's happening in Hong Kong, in Sydney, not just Sydney, it's everywhere in Australia. And the problem is, it's getting more and more. And to look at this, I do believe this is a mobile conference home. It's getting closer and closer. Sydney is not much different to Hong Kong. Yes, but in the Australian market, who is dominating? I would say the government is not at the top. The developer at the back in the second place, and actually the private and pastoral sector, they are the dominant player. Who are they? And yes, oh, well, I would talk about it. Yeah, this is the map. You have to look at this. Yes, the public owned land is in the pink color. It's the purple color. It's only this area. It's about 14.9%. And the indigenous taking 26.6% of the land. And who own the most? Private and pastoral sector, they took more than half the land. They own more than half of the land. Yes, someone mentioned the Gina. Yes, you got it. You see, she's here. Her group holding 9.2 million hectares of land. Tell me, who can tell me how many houses can build into 9.2 million hectares of land? In terms of 500 square piece of land, it can build 180,000 homes, just owned by one single group of people. And there's 10 of them in the rank, and more and more. The list can go on. And the thing is, who has read the Rich Dad, Poor Dad book? A lot of you. I agree, I love the book. I agree most of the thing in the book. What they said is so true, except one thing I don't agree with that. Don't wait to buy real estate. Buy real estate and wait. And that's what happened. Yes, a group of people, they get rich, but what about the rest? And this is what happening. That was how it caused Australia fall into today's housing crisis. And the root cause of all the housing crisis all over the I found this as common terms. Land is available, but underutilized. The government policy, developer practice contribute to the risks, to the crisis, and need a comprehensive policy reform. Just one thing I raise up here. Check this out. Just one policy remove that will create 770,000 houses right away. Just remove the negative gearing. Maybe Tim doesn't agree with this. We will talk about it after. Yes, but the thing is, what is the cost of the shortage of the affordable housing? The long-term impact, it affects the young generations. Imagine a snail without a shell. What is it? Slug. Yes, they feel hopeless. They are lack of motivation. They impact them to procrastinate their personal development and career development. They don't get married. You know, in Hong Kong, if you don't have a house, you don't have an apartment, no woman will marry you. And in China as well, by the way. And driving up the living costs so much. And what is the problem? You know what? People, because the living is so difficult, they cut off the cost of having a baby. You too were lucky. Or a lot of young people cannot be born just because of the housing crisis. Yes, for your information, every woman needs to deliver 2.15 baby to keep our population. Yep, if you have less than 2 children, our population is declining, especially right now in this situation, housing crisis, and even under the individualism idea, we have a really bad baby born rate right now. Some of the countries start declining. The population projection has been tuned down, reviewed. Let's rethink the affordability. Adequate housing is a human right. According to the International Conference on Economic, Social, and Cultural Rights article, it said everyone deserves equal housing. This is something to make a standard of the people human right. Housing adequate factors, that's including legal security, available of the services, material, resources, affordability, and accessibility, and habitability, and location, and cultural adequacy. Yes, I have a new direction to let everybody have to think of. We keep on going to be egocentric, or maybe we can rethink our direction to be ecocentric. Maybe we can focus on not doing this humanization anymore, but to become more humanity. Let the humanity be the central of our consideration, the core of our values. And what we have learned today, we have never have a land shortage problem. We have a land acquisition problem. We have a land hoarding problem. And the biggest blind spot is the affordable housing right now across Australia. And housing is a basic human need. Everyone needs a shelter, like a snail needs a shell. And now we are lack of quality, affordable property right now. What happens when there's a lack? When there's a lack, there's crime. When there's a lack, there's a crisis. And when there's a lack, there's a protest. Welcome to the Hong Kong 2014, the Yellow Umbrella Movement. It sounds like, wasn't it? Is the political, is the fight a battle of democratic democracy? No. It's about the angry holding in them, the disappointment in them, the hopeless in them. This hopeless. Turn them into warriors. They took over Hong Kong CBD for months. They took over the parliament. And they turned Hong Kong into a battlefield. And they pay for the price of their blood and their future. So, here, I want to beg you, reconsider, what are you doing with the houses? Are you accumulating more houses to get more profit? Are you selling to more investors? Or you will consider to sell your home to the home buyers in Australia, Western Australia, not for the other side of the country. All right, give our action today shape our children's future story. I'm standing here not for politics. I'm standing here for humanity, for human rights. Let the housing crisis start ending today from you. Let our children have their dream that they can afford to dream of. Let's restore the great Australian dream. Thank you. And by any chance, this is a QR code. I'm actually running a 100 home story campaign, which collecting the story for every of the success home stories. Please, if you are interested, you have or the young people, you have any hope, you want to ask the world, why you put me in this situation, or any question you want to ask about how can I climb the property ladder right now. I prepare a course because I cannot buy my children a house. I prepare them a course. Maybe this can be something that can help you too. Yes, please scan and I contact you. I'm looking forward to in touch with you, speak to you. Thank you.